Good morning. It is Monday, April 6th at about 9:20. And I am just making some breakfast really quick because in about 10 minutes I have a Zoom call with the other language arts teachers in my grade level. And then also later today I have a Zoom meeting with my principal to talk about the house system. So I'm just trying to make sure I have something to eat to get me through the next few hours. So I'm just making the usual, an over hard egg, I should say, a bagel that's being toasted, and I will be putting the egg on top of that. And then I just made a cup of coffee. I will also have some juice, and more than likely I will eat some mangoes to go with that. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't know how long I'll be on the computer, or I'm assuming there's going to be a break in between these meetings. So I just posted my Google Classroom. I'm going to put you down for a second. I just posted my Google Classroom assignments for the week. Well, I didn't just do it. They're scheduled to post at 8 o'clock on Mondays. And I have a parent who's asking me about the website that I'm using for the first time. So I'm using Common Lit for the first time because it does have an annotation tool. So I'm going to try and see if by using that, making the annotations for the students is easier. So basically this week my class is going to read an article on Jewish refugees using Common Lit. That ties into what we've been studying with Anne Frank to some extent. Annotating it like they normally would with their article of the week, where they're highlighting things for different purposes and then making annotations to represent their thinking, just so that I can encourage them to be active readers. So they're doing that. Last week they had to submit their rough draft for a essay they were writing. I read over those rough drafts. I didn't get a lot of them. Like, the turn-in rate for me is not great. Like, I think less than 1% of my students submitted their annotations for their article last week, and that could just be they're not quite sure how to submit it, so that's fine. But about half of the kids turned in their rough draft, and there was something else. And half of the kids did their reflection slides for last week's article. So I did send out a message this morning to parents and students that kind of gave them the stats so they knew, like, this is what's happening. I tried as kindly as possible to let them know that I was disappointed, and then I'm hoping that we do better this week. This kitchen lighting is just not my friend. And hopefully that will make it better. I also give them slides that kind of take them step by step on how to complete things, what to do. So this week they're reading that article on Jewish refugees, and then those students who turn in their rough draft need to read the feedback that I gave them, and then take that and create their final draft and create a works cited page, as well as watch the weekend wrap and do some activities I assigned for them there, and then read. So that's what the plan is. We're gonna hope that it gets better this week, because it is very discouraging to be putting all this work in and not everybody's doing it, and not even really half are doing it in some cases. So let me focus on getting my breakfast together so I'm not late to this meeting, and we'll see how this goes.
Perfect.
All right, it is now 11:15. I am still in my office. I just finished my Zoom call, I don't know, not too long ago, maybe like around 10:30-ish or so. It is raining outside also, so I didn't get to go on a run. and I probably won't get to go on a run for a few days because I think it's going to be raining all week. So we finished that up. It was good. We all just kind of checked in with each other, shared what we're doing, shared where we're at, shared resources. One of our assistant principals joined us and just gave us information that we needed to know on a more broad scale in terms of how all this is going and what we need to be mindful of. And that's it. So now I'm just kind of in between this meeting and the one with my principal. Hi, Riley. And so what I just did is I just responded to some messages from parents through Remind, because what I chose to do this morning, or I actually scheduled it Friday night. So after I graded things and looked at student work, I just listed percentages of what assignments were completed. So like I said, on this assignment, you know, this many or this percentage of the class completed it, so on and so forth. And I know I mentioned that before my Zoom call when I was making breakfast. And I feel like that has helped a little bit. And I also let parents know that grades were entered. I'm really just grading it as participation. I'm giving them specific feedback on the assignments themselves, the assignments that require that kind of feedback or they need that kind of feedback on. But when it comes to the grade book, because we can't collect a grade and have their overall grade in the class be affected by it, they're just getting participation points. But if a student doesn't turn it in, it shows up as a missing assignment. And so I also sent out a message to parents, or scheduled that message to go out this morning, to say all assignments from the previous week have been loaded into the grade book. If you see an orange box, that means it wasn't completed or submitted. And so I've gotten several responses from students and parents about that, and have since gotten some things turned in that was not turned in. The one thing I know that I need to do is I'll send out a remind message in a little bit, just clarifying to parents and students that I checked the assignments Friday night, maybe Saturday, and that is when I'm deciphering who's completed something and who hasn't. So a couple parents have said, oh, my child said that they submitted it. And then when I go on, I can see that, yes, they did submit it, but they submitted it this morning after I had already sent that message out. So hopefully as the weeks go by, things get better. Because I'm not gonna lie, it is very challenging to get some 8th graders to do work that they know is optional and isn't going to help or hurt them in terms of grades in any kind of way. So I responded to those. I think what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna look through my slides for my, I don't know if it's a presentation, if that's what I really wanna call it, but my sit down meeting with my principal to talk about the house system, just so that I feel prepared. I feel prepared. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I really don't know what to expect because I'm not presenting it, but I am. And just make sure I'm clear on what kinds of questions he might ask, and that I have like a clear way to respond to it. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna look at those, and if I have some time, because I have about an hour, so I'm gonna do that and then try and read some of the essays that were submitted late by some of my students. So all while watching Judge Judy. So well, I'm officially done with the meetings that I had scheduled for today. I finished not too long ago the Zoom session with the principal and the assistant principal, talking about the house system. He was very supportive, very much on board. So now it's all about just figuring out the logistics of everything and getting it rolled out correctly. And I have a couple of contact people that I've been in touch with that can help me with that, because they've started at their school in the past couple of years. So I feel good about that. And now I need to just kind of move forward. Right now I'm just snuggling here with Genesis. I actually need to get up and get some things done, but it's hard to get up when she's just like perfectly snuggled in my arms, looking like a little precious princess. You wouldn't know that she does so many bad things, huh? So I'm not 100% sure what I'm getting ready to do. I need to put some clothes in the laundry and maybe eat. But I'm either gonna work on some of the things that I need to map out based on the meeting I just had, or I might look at some stuff on Study Sync. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so check those two things off my list. I'm very thankful for that, and I'm thankful that he seems to be into it and excited. So now it's just a matter of me like putting in the work to make sure this all gets kind of rolled out appropriately. I have a feeling I'll work on leadership stuff right now since it's like in the forefront of my mind, but that's where I'm at. Just to include the other one, this is Riley. Since some of you really like seeing them. Riley, you want to say hi? Say hi. Riley, woo. Let's zoom into that little face. Hi, Riley. So, we're going to get to work. Hello, it is Tuesday. I don't have my watch on. It's about 1:45. I'm in between Zoom calls for my classes. So I have office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11:30 to 12:30 for my homeroom class, and then 1:30 to 2:30 for my switch class. And it really is designed for people or for kids to come in if they have questions or things they want to clarify. But this one in particular, I did ask that everyone show up. I think in my homeroom class, I had about 7 or 8 out of 26 students. So that didn't really happen. But what are you going to do? And my next one is with my switch class. And I have a feeling there will be less kids there because not even everyone in that class has signed up for Google Classroom to find the assignments that I've been sending out. So that is honestly the reality of what distance learning is looking like for me. I do teach 8th graders. Some of them are motivated, some of them may not be, and then some of them may just have some life circumstances going on that's preventing them from doing it. So I just have to keep those things in mind. But I thought it would be interesting, entertaining, or fun, whatever you want to call it, to just show you my office, because a couple of people in the last videos have asked for me to do a home tour because they've seen little pieces of where I live, but they were curious to see the rest of it. And I've done a home tour video, but it's years old and things have somewhat changed a little bit here and there. But I don't want to do a full-blown house tour because I think I'm too lazy, is the truth. So I just thought, since I have time and I'll be at home quite a bit over the next coming weeks, that I would just show you a room at a time. And maybe, I don't know if these are all going to be in one vlog or they'll be spread about. But since I'm spending some time in the office today and I've just recently cleaned it up in here, I thought, let me show you my office. So I'm going to go back to the front so you can kind of get a feel of what it looks like. But this is my office. It has changed just a little bit over the years. I think at first I didn't have the rug for sure. The chair changed, but for the most part, I feel like it stayed the same. It's been so long since I've done this. I don't even know where to start. So I will just start here. So these are just very old pictures that I've had since high school. One is like a framed image or a framed quote from my dad that I got, I don't even remember when, excuse me. I just know I was in high school. This is a caricature I got the summer before I went to college at Universal Studios. And if you look very closely at the books say money, medicine, and law. And I think they asked me what did I want for my future, or what was I hoping for. I obviously said to have money, and I wanted to be a lawyer. I don't even know why it says medicine there, because I don't think I would have ever uttered the words I want to be a doctor. So maybe they just made that choice. But that used to hang in my dorm room. Both of those things did, and I've just kept it over the years. Here is just where I have the cable box. This stand right here is actually a bar cart that I got from Target a while ago. Probably when I first moved in here that first year. And then the cords for the cable are just being hidden by those pillows. That's why those are there. The pillows are from Target, and that one is from TJ Maxx. Then I have some books here that I just like the way they look. The energy bus I would recommend for teachers or anyone that works or deals with people. And then these are just fashion books, Lauren Conrad and Lloyd Boston. They're really just there for show. My printer's here. It just sits on one of those tables from IKEA that's like $10. I do have a TV in my office, which is great keeps me company. And these dots, I don't remember where I got these dots from. I just know that I ordered them online and I just randomly put them up there as like a frame for the TV. And this big picture here came from Living Spaces. This was one of the first things that I bought when I was buying things to furnish the condo. And it just has different locations in Southern California, in the LA area. Going this way, this is Riley and my desk. So this desk, I get questions about it frequently. This desk is actually, I think it's actually a dining room table, or I'm not even sure if it's a desk. I just know that when I went into Living Spaces, I saw this as a display, and I don't remember them displaying it as a desk, but it's just glass. I knew that I wanted something clear because I didn't want a hard, heavy wood desk, and I wanted the room to feel very like light and modern. So I have this glass desk. Sometimes I regret it because it's not the most ergonomically correct desk. So every now and then, depending on how this chair is positioned, I find myself feeling a little cramped, but I like the way it looks, so it doesn't matter. So I just keep things like pens, grading pens, writing pens up there, mail opener, these 3 little apples I got from Target way back when. This is just a filing system that I'm never really good about keeping up with. There's probably old files in there, and I don't file the things I should be filing. That's a whole nother story. This is where I keep my bills until I need to pay them. This is my computer. I just recently had to replace this computer. I had a smaller one before that was old, and it was just time, and I got one. Apple doesn't have like a Black Friday sale, but they had like a special right around that time, so I purchased one because I needed one. And then this office chair, I've gotten some questions about. This came from TJ Maxx, I think, several years ago, and this pillow here is from Target, and then I just have a blanket there because I'm always in a blanket of some sort. So then aside from that, I just have a gallery wall of photos and pictures, not really photos, I guess, pictures that I accumulated over time. These all came from my previous apartment. A couple of them have been added. I think this New York sign was one that I bought when I had already purchased the condo, just to kind of fill the space. And then I had some extra gold dots, so I put them there. That's just my work bag, a stool that I used to use when I was filming math videos in my office. And that's really it. Like, I am very thankful to have a home office. I don't feel like I use it as much as I should. But when I'm in here working, like yesterday, I spent the vast majority of the day in here. I'm very thankful for it. And then I always tell myself I should work in here more often because it's just more conducive to getting work done. And then of course, Genesis is spoiled, so this is the bed that she has in the office. And a lot of times when I'm in my room or doing something upstairs, she'll just come in here by herself because the sunlight in the morning comes through really well, and she likes to lay in the sun. So she'll lay there on that blanket unless Riley gets the blanket first and like puts it in a pile on the floor because he doesn't like to lay on the bed. So yeah, that is my office. My workspace that I should use more often. I don't know if you guys can see that, but see, I'm just wrapped in a blanket. That's pretty much how I spend most of my day. Sweatshirt on top, wrapped in a blanket at the bottom. I'm getting ready to go get something to eat. I have about 40 minutes, so I'm gonna get something to eat, probably make a cup of coffee, and then come back for my second session for the day. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, it is about 2:13. I just finished up my second Zoom meeting of the day. I had one from 11:30 to 12:30, and that was with my homeroom class, and then one from 1:30 to 2:30, which is the one I just finished. So we finished with about 15 minutes to spare. And then just to be honest about how my distance learning is going, in both of those I had maybe somewhere between 8 to 10 students show up, and both of those classes have about 26 to 27 students, if that gives you any indication. So that is my reality with distance learning. And this is one where I actually sent out a message through Remind to parents and students saying I would like for everyone to attend because there were some things I wanted to clarify with them based on the assignments they're currently working on. So again, frustrating, but nothing I can do about it. But in case you're curious, my kids, I don't know if I mentioned this, but they're basically reading an article on Common Lit and annotating that, which is something they do all the time using Newsela. They're being asked to read on a daily basis. They're asked to reflect on the article from Common Lit that they read, which is something they've done all year. And the biggest piece of what they're doing is they're taking a rough draft of an essay and turning that into a final draft. So I was up Friday reading through the ones that were submitted, giving feedback, and sending that back to them so that they knew what they needed to kind of focus on when it came to writing their final draft. So today I wanted to talk to them about some common things that I saw that we need to rethink in our essays. And so that's what I shared with them. And so some of the things I shared with them is that a lot of them are writing a lot of good thoughts and ideas, but they're not providing any text evidence to support it. The ones that are giving text evidence are ignoring the part of the prompt that tells them they need 4 sources. 2 of them have already been predetermined. So one source is Boy in the Striped Pajamas, obviously because the prompt is related to one of the characters in the book. Hitler Youth, which is a passage that we read in Study Sync, and then they have to find 2 of their own. So one of the things that I noticed is that the 2 other sources they were choosing, a lot of them were choosing were not really academic in nature. So they were like movie reviews or book reviews, which isn't really what I was looking for. So we talked about better options for them, and then some of them are citing sources, and they're really good about giving text evidence and finding quotes. But what I was finding is for many of them, huge chunks of their paragraph was just direct quotation from the book or Hitler Youth or whatever it was they were using. So I was just explaining to them that there are times where you should use the direct quote. Like if the quote is very powerful or the word choice is super strong, then definitely use that direct quote. But a lot of times you can also just read what something is saying, condense it down into your own words, and then write that, and just make sure that you cite where that information was coming from. So we talked about that. I also kind of let them know how I grade and the timing of things, so they know when I'm putting grades in and why someone might have something showing up as missing but they submitted it. And that was really it. I started off the conversation by asking them on a scale of 1 to 10, how are they feeling, and what's something that's going well this week, and what is something that could be improved, and then we just went from there. So now I get to go to Volkswagen to pick up my car and pay a hefty little fee to do that. So the nice thing is I was kind of able to forget about the fact that I had that much in car repairs the past couple days, because it was like out of sight, out of mind. And now I am reminded of that because I'm going to get my car. So I'm gonna head out and get that done. And I'm gonna try and have a cup of coffee and continue to work on some things and see how long I feel like doing that. So I will talk to you guys later. All right, I am home now. I got my car, paid the price. But you know what? I'm kind of proud of myself because I'm keeping a calm, cool, and collected attitude about it. I am reminding myself that I had established an emergency fund just for this, and I am using that emergency fund for its purpose. And all I have to do is rebuild my emergency fund back up, and that is doable. Does it slow down the progress that I was making? Yes. But does it mean progress won't be made? No. I just have to be patient in the process and in myself. And that is where I'm at. So I'm now making lunch, and I thought I would show you what I've been eating for lunch because it's not anything earth-shattering, but it's very easy. I don't feel guilty having it, and I've enjoyed it, honestly. So when things were really going down and I was panic buying groceries, one of the things I bought was, let's go over here, was just easy stuff. So I bought a bag of ground beef patties. Now, I don't know why I thought that's something I should buy, but I did. And so what I've been doing is I've just been making the patties with cheese on it, and I've just been putting it on romaine lettuce, and then underneath the mustard that you see are like little grilled onions, some sweet relish, and then this is just honey mustard. And I've just been eating it like that. There's actually 2 patties in there because the patties are relatively thin and it's protein, so I feel like that's okay. And if I'm still hungry after that, I'll probably eat some yogurt to go with it. And because it's cold and rainy, I just made myself a cup of coffee. This is my first cup of coffee of the day. I probably won't have another. And you know, the positive of being home all the time is I get to use mugs that I just really haven't used in a long time, and that's one of them. I got this one from Anthropologie years ago. So I am going to enjoy some lunch and take a break for a minute because I feel like I've been working all day. And then I will probably, what am I looking for? I will probably go upstairs and work on some more leadership stuff because that is what I ended up doing last night. I created a Trello board. Now I've used Trello before and then I kind of fell off the wagon. Then I got re-inspired because this is kind of like a big project that I need to help organize, and so I need to be very linear in what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. So I went back to Trello, and so I got really into that because I'm a nerd. I don't have anything else to do. So I'm probably gonna work on that after I take a little bit of a break. So more than likely I will see you at some point tomorrow or the day after or whenever I check in, but I don't think I'll check in anymore today. So see you later. All right, good morning. It is 10:30 according to my car. I've been up for a little while, and so far today I have checked emails, sent out a couple messages on Remind, took care of some technical things for some students on Common Lit, and now I'm taking a break because I need to get a few items from the grocery store. So in California, a couple days ago, we were told now it's mandated that you wear a face mask anytime you go out in public. And that, I don't know if they're saying this in every state, because I know every state is having a different experience with everything. But in California, like, they're saying this is the week to stay home if possible. Order in if you're ordering food, get your groceries delivered and all that. And I'm trying to abide by that to try and help the situation. So I tried, or I not tried, I went on to Instacart a couple days ago, yesterday I think, to see like what the process would be to have groceries delivered because I've never used it before. And the frustrating part for me is by the time I got all the groceries in the cart and like went to check out, like between the service fee, the tipping, and there were 2 different kinds of fees. One was $7.99, one was $2, plus, you know, start adding in a tip. I'm almost to the point where I'm buying another week's worth of groceries or a half a week's worth of groceries. So it's just like, it doesn't make financial sense. It's like significantly increasing my grocery bill. So I'm not going to do that right now. And I get that it's a business and they need to charge fees to keep it going. But I really do like the companies that are making delivery options free. I would much rather have a free delivery and then spend that money tipping the person, trying to support them, you know, during a time where people are losing jobs. So I'm in the parking lot of a grocery store, and I do have my little face mask here, which I got from a friend. She made these. I hate wearing these. They're very suffocating, which is why I try to do Instacart, because the less time I can spend in this, the better. But I'm just going to go in really quick. I just need a few items. I need some more fruit. I need some snacks. I don't have snacks at home. Just things to get me through the day between breakfast, lunch, and snacks. Dinner's already taken care of thanks to Blue Apron. So I'm going to go in here, be as fast as I can, and then I have to go back home because my office hours start at 11:30. So I need to be at my computer for sure by that time. So here we go. All right, I am back. It is about 11 o'clock. I was in there for maybe 20-25 minutes. Wore my face mask, did my due diligence, and I would say everybody that I saw, with the exception of one woman and her daughter, had a face mask on. I'm not really sure why they were opting not to do that, but they're adults. I can't force them to do what they don't want to do. But I'm kind of glad I didn't do Instacart, because had I not physically gone into the store, I would not have been so lucky to grab this. Hold on a second. I found this, a 6-pack of paper towels, and not just any paper towels, like good quality paper towels. I have toilet paper. I don't know if I said in last week's vlog or anywhere really. I went to Target at one point last week, and I just so happened to be standing in the right place at the right time, and there was I think it was like a 12 pack of toilet paper just sitting in like the return to the shelf cart, and they let me take it, so I did that. So I have plenty of toilet paper now and paper towels to last a while, because I do go through paper towels quite a bit, but I've been real conservative with it. So aside from that, these are the things that I got in case you're interested. I have a good portion of lunch food from my panic shopping, but I just needed a couple things to go with it. So I have a lot of pasta and pasta sauce, so I will be eating that for lunch probably next week. And I just bought some of this Cheesecake Factory brown bread to go with it. I needed some more orange juice for breakfast, so I bought some orange juice. More mangoes to go with breakfast, so I bought that. For snacks, I have been eating like slices of pepperoni with cheese, so I bought another pack of this sliced pepperoni. I still have some apples left, and I am running out of peanut butter cups, so I bought this. I have been eating Greek yogurt as a part of lunch sometimes. So I bought a 4-pack of the lime Greek yogurt from Chobani, which is my favorite flavor. And I put granola in it. So I always use, whenever I can, unless I can't find it, this protein granola from Nature Valley. Some whipped cream cheese for my bagels. And I have been desperately needing like something sweet every day at some point, and I was hoping to find brownie brittle because I feel like that's not that bad, and I normally will have a piece of brownie brittle or two and put some light Cool Whip on it. Riley, no. For some reason, Riley wants to eat her crumbs of food, even though his food is the exact same thing. And just crowds her space while she eats. Now, luckily, they get along, and Genesis just ignores him, but he literally hovers right near her in the hopes that a piece of dog food will drop out of her mouth so that he can eat it, but his food is exactly the same. I don't know who this is, so we're ignoring that call. So I've been wanting something sweet every day at some point, and so I was hoping to get brownie brittle, but they didn't have it. But I should have gotten Cool Whip Light, but I didn't think about it till I got home. So I bought a pack of Toll House mini chocolate chip cookies, and my hope is that because they're mini, I just won't eat very much of them. Now, that could also mean that because they're mini, my mind will say, well, they're small, so it doesn't count, and then I eat more than I should. So if I eat 3 cookies, which sounds like psychologically, that sounds like a lot. Like to say I have 3 cookies makes me feel like I'm doing something. So for 3 cookies, it's 160 calories. So I bought these. So that was my trip to the grocery store. I got back in the car. I have some hand sanitizer in my car, so I used that right away. And then I just finished washing my hands. I do feel like I need to wash the face mask like almost daily, because the only thing with that face mask is I never know what side I used the last time. So I could have had the side that was facing out the last time facing in, meaning that it was just like on my face, and I don't know if that's something I should be concerned about or not. But it kind of makes me feel like I should hand wash it every couple of days and just be safe. So I'm getting ready to make a bagel with some eggs and have some mango and get ready for office hours, and just see how the day goes from there with distance learning. So there's that. Oh, and I'm going to show you CommonLit, the annotation tool, because I get the impression that the annotation tool is something new that they just added to CommonLit. So if you are a middle school teacher, I would assume, or high school teacher, or even maybe upper elementary, and you want your kids to get in the habit of annotating, they do have an annotation tool built in, and it just sounded like this was a new feature that was added. And there's multiple colors, and you can see the kids' annotations, and so far, from what I saw, it works really well. I asked the kids whether or not they preferred that, like digital annotations, or doing it on their own, and it was kind of split, honestly, but at the time that I was asking, I'm not sure that all of them had actually tried the digital one. And then when I had my PLC on Monday, I also found out about another app or website or whatever it technically is that I had not heard of called Cami, which sounds like it allows you to take a document, turn it into a PDF, and then it allows the kids to annotate on the PDF, is what I think it is. So I'm gonna check that out as well. I kind of wanna use this time where I'm forced to make use of these digital resources to figure out what works well and what doesn't, so that it's something I can actually use in the classroom next year. So in some ways, these kids are little guinea pigs for that kind of stuff. But I need to get started with making this quick breakfast. And oh, I also want to show former room moms from a couple years ago when I was teaching 3rd grade at my other school. Patty dropped me off a coffee this morning just because she's nice. So this is from a local coffee shop. They don't make the cold brew, but she showed them my Starbucks order and they made something similar to it. So this is the name of the coffee shop if you are living in the area I am, and it's pretty good. So even during a quarantine, my room moms drop things off for me. And speaking of which, that mask that I have was dropped off for me by a lady that was my room mom way back when, like way back when, who I've just kept in contact with over the years, who's also the person that helped me do my countertops in my classroom. And it's just an all-around sweet person with 2 very sweet, great kids. So I do feel fortunate in that. But enough about all that. I'm getting ready to make some breakfast and get ready for office hours. All right, good evening. We have a little guest here. We're gonna see how long she sits still like this. It's 7 o'clock. I don't think I ever said what day it is because I didn't vlog yesterday. So just to be clear, it's Thursday. And you'll know that anyway, because when I edit it, I always put the day of the week, but oh well. I've pretty much been in here all day. So I think the last time I checked in, I was getting ready for my first round of office hours with my homeroom class. 2 students showed up. Again, that is the reality of my distance learning, I was watching a story by Marie at the Caffeinated Classroom, and she kind of was having the same experience, and she just took that to mean that the information and the directions that I'm giving are so clear-cut that they don't feel the need to be there. But the 2 students that showed up really were just there to say hello, which I thought was nice, so I just hung out with them for the duration of that hour. And one of the moms was there too, so we were just talking about things. So it was just nice just to hang out and talk and just keep ourselves busy. And then I had an hour in between, so I got some of my essays read, the ones that have submitted their final draft so far, left some feedback and returned those. And then my second round of office hours came, and 1 student showed up for that, and it was so precious because he was so diligent and said, you know, I turned in all my assignments. I was just wondering if you can look at it and give me some feedback. So we went through it together, and I helped him with one of the assignments that he was struggling with a little bit, and then he said goodbye. And then I had 1 more student from my homeroom class that couldn't get on for the first hour popped in, and he had a question that was specific to vocabulary. So that's how my office hours went, and the rest of my time I've been in here. I talked to my partner for a little bit just to touch base, and I ate some lunch, and I've been working on just getting myself organized for this house system that I would like to implement. Come on, Jenny. So I wanted to show you Common Lit and just kind of talk about how that's going, since this is my first time using it, especially with the annotation tool. And I think I really like it. And one of the epiphanies I had today was that in this process of distance learning, I'm at least being forced to kind of mess around with different platforms and sites and see how they work. And that will help me next year because, for example, Common Lit will probably be something that I incorporate because I do like having the annotation tool built in. So I'm gonna have to be really careful because I don't want to show any student's name. So after you've clicked student annotations, this is gonna be a little choppy because I'm having to hold the camera in a very specific place because student names are off to the left. You can see their annotations. So when I was talking to my students Tuesday, because I didn't know at the time, Genesis, please sit still. I asked, do you have different color options? And so they said, yes, you have, I think 5. My camera work is struggling because Genesis won't sit her little body still in my lap. So they have 5 different options, which pretty much correlate with the 5 colors I've used in class. And just imagine that off to the left,
is the student's name, who these annotations belong to, and the notes that go with each highlight. So the only downfall is there you have to like just read the actual annotation in the order of the highlight. Okay, because we're doing the most. So in other words, there's some where if you click on the highlight, it will show you the actual annotation that goes with that highlight. I think Study Sync does that. Whereas this, you see all the highlights on the passage, but their annotations are off to the side. And you just have to know that the first highlight you see matches the first annotation they've typed, which is a little tedious, but it's better than what was happening for them, with them having a hard time submitting their annotations through Google Classroom and what have you. So when they finish, they submit it. And there were also, I think, 4 questions that went along with this passage that I didn't technically assign. So I had a couple kids ask if they needed to do that. And I said, you know, I didn't assign it, but it won't hurt. But if something goes wrong or they need to go back into it, you can unsubmit it for them. So that seems to be working well. So that's what I've been doing. And I've been doing that in my office. And in the process, I've created a little bit of a mess. Like, this is everything that's just been out. So I think I might stop working now and take a break. I'm gonna go pick up another face mask for my partner because she has some extras. And unfortunately, I forgot to get dishwashing liquid at Target today. So I need to run to Target to get that because I don't have any more. And then that should complete my grocery shopping for the week. So the battery's gonna die. So I'm gonna say goodnight and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, it is Friday, just before 3 o'clock. Not too long ago, I ended my last virtual meeting. This was just a check-in that I jumped in on with my partner teacher with one of our classes. We did it for that class, and then just before that, we did it for the other class because we have 2 classes, a homeroom and a switch class. Before that, we were also in a different virtual meeting with our school counselor. And then before that, I was in a virtual meeting with one of my administrators, just again, talking through implementing the house system at our school next year. And before that, I had breakfast, put away some laundry, and that's how I started the day. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting ready to have a snack. I've prepared, let's see if I can move it without making a mess, a very fancy, I think they're called charcuterie board. I'm gonna show it to you. There it is. Just high class all the way. It's just some pepperoni slices and a couple slices of cheese. And that is gonna be my snack. I know I should probably be eating lunch right now because it's almost 3 o'clock, but I tend to eat late. I tend to eat lunch later in the day because I also eat dinner later in the day, and it's kind of a bad habit, but I just can't seem to break it. And I'm gonna have a snack. I'm gonna check to see if any more essays have been graded so I can kind of start getting that stuff recorded for the week and move on to thinking about what I want them to do for the upcoming week. And that's pretty much gonna be it. I do have to cook a meal later on tonight, so maybe I'll pick up the camera and vlog some of that process, but I'm not 100% sure. As far as how I'm feeling with distance learning now that we've completed 3 weeks, pretty much the same as the other weeks. Obviously, I prefer to be in the classroom. Obviously, things just feel better, are more conducive to learning. But this is what it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I also, last week as I was making dinner on Sunday, came across this YouTube video, and the person was giving like a synopsis of an article that she read in relationship to how people are coping with just social distancing, working from home, and all of this. And it just kind of struck me because the gist of it was because of the nature of the world we live in now, where everybody's supposed to be like being busy and being productive and having something to show and just like doing all that. That is what a lot of us are trying to do in the midst of a pandemic, which is kind of, when you think about it, silly. Like, it's silly for me to think that I'm going to be producing the same way or teaching in the same way or be as effective in the same way in circumstances that are really just abnormal. And I shouldn't necessarily be giving myself a hard time when I'm not quite performing at the same level. And in the process of that, like, I just decided, like, I don't like even referring to this time as the new normal because I really don't want this to become normalized for me. Like, this is, I would prefer to call this is the reality of the situation right now, but I certainly don't want to refer to this as normal because I don't want it to become normal. So in those days where I feel like I haven't been productive enough or I'm not doing enough, I just need to realize that's okay, because we're in an unusual situation. Because I am guilty of being someone that feels like, okay, I have all this time now, I need to like really be producing something. And that's great in some ways, but then it's also could be just like the thing that's causing me more anxiety than what I need to be experiencing. So I'm gonna try and keep that in mind, and if I have spurts of energy or feel inspired to be productive, then I will. But if I have moments and days where I don't, I won't. And that's just gonna have to be okay for my sanity. So that's pretty much where I'm at. And as far as just coping with everything else, like I really am just taking it day by day, one moment at a time, and doing the best that I can, and knowing that this will be over soon. And that's really all that I can do. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you aren't subscribed, please make sure you do so. And I will definitely continue to upload every Sunday, unless like for some reason I can't. Please excuse Genesis and that barking, because I know many of you have commented that you appreciate just the regular, like the regularity of these being uploaded on Sundays, and you're happy with whatever's in them just because it makes you, it's just a distraction really. So so I will keep doing that. But yeah, so I will definitely see you guys next week. I hope that you're all doing well and that you're handling things as best as you can without being too hard on yourself. So I will see you next week. Till then, bye everybody.